why.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Jim, I'm going to make you the host so you can
Okay.
share. Yes. Okay. All right, we are officially started. And so good evening, everybody. I know that Barbara McGill is not going to attend. She's on her boat in the Keys, and it's not going to work for her to try to get on this Zoom call. So we don't have her. And sometimes Frankie, I think Frankie's the only one we're missing. But I will let Christina, I see is
Frankie.
if you want to go ahead and take roll call, Christina, if you're prepared. If not, I can do it.
Can you do it? I'm moving right now. I'll be with you in a second.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, well, I can see.
La donna è mobile.
All right. Abby?
Here.
Okay, Barbara McGill is excused. Kathy Stubbs? I know you're here, Kathy. Okay, I can see Christina. I can see Colleen, sort of making everybody talk. Dennis, okay, we don't have Frankie yet. Jim is here. Lewis is here. Marilyn, myself, Melinda. Oh, Michael. So we're missing Michael and Frankie. So keep an eye out for them. Okay, that is the roll call. All right. All right, and Jim, if you wouldn't mind then putting the I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got it. Here it
Okay.
comes.
There we go.
See it?
Yep, got it.
Got it.
All right.
Okay. I sent this out and I apologize for not sending the minutes out. I forgot all about it and I think I sent them out about 20 minutes ago. They were on our website, which I'm sure you guys all go to immediately to read the minutes as soon as they're posted.
But I printed them.
Okay. So here, let me get them out myself. So I don't know if you during the meeting, if you haven't had a chance to look at them, try to take a look. Okay, so our agenda, again, Dr. JJ couldn't come to our last meeting. He had an emergency. So he let me know actually during the meeting. And so we'll try to get him back. I have a gift for him. The next, our meeting, June 14th, okay? Just realized that these minutes on our board meeting say May 10th general meeting agenda. It should say June 14th. So I apologize for that. All right. And then we're on our commissioner role. So we have Commissioner Moratis coming. I know she wants to talk about Lockhart. I have to ask her if she has any other things she probably wants to talk about, probably in a Galleria.
Yep.
I'm not really sure what else you might want to talk about. So we'll get that kind of put to paper. And then Zoe helped me get somebody to talk about the proposed school board tax. I think it's a 1% tax, if I'm correct. And she suggested John Sullivan, who's the director of legislative affairs for the school system. And he said that he would come. Sound all right to everybody so far?
Mhm.
And Mary, you're showing the treasurer's report. I didn't know if,
Oh, I'm sorry. I did that. I didn't mean to
or
do
Jim,
that.
sorry,
Sorry,
Oh.
I didn't mean to do that.
which is
I
fine,
just
but
brought it. I brought it up for later, and
okay.
I guess I got it.
That's-
No, you don't want that either. I'll get it back.
interesting.
Hold on.
Okay.
It's my FedEx invoice for one of my customers.
Okay.
You better be careful what you let show up in there.
Okay,
No.
then Chris Lagerbloom, this would be the last time we would ever have him. I wasn't gonna have him come to our meeting since we're having commissioners, but it's the last time he could ever come. And I think we should have him. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Usually
I think we should. I think we should have him come on one last time, say goodbye. Thanks for all his contributions to our conversations, for better, for worse.
Yeah, that would be nice.
All right, should we get him anything or should?
No,
give
No,
him
we
a
should not get him
brownie or a
anything.
cupcake and say, have a good time?
No, he
Okay.
was doing
All
his
right.
job.
Okay,
He was doing his job, right?
all right, that's cool. I'm glad to not have to go figure out what that might be.
That's good.
And then finally, we have Portia Williams to come and talk about short-term rentals. Okay, so that sound good for an agenda for everybody so far?
Yeah.
Okay. These two things. I wish Michael was on here.
Mary, he's trying to get in right now.
Oh, here. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see him.
I don't see him in the waiting room,
I don't either.
so I don't see him. I mean, normally it will tell me if somebody's waiting.
It would tell me because I'm the host, but there's
that's
nothing
true.
there.
So I don't know if he's got the wrong link or what.
I'll check on it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so down to council business. The Galdang train and its tracks and its bridges and its tunnels. You know, the subject that just never seems to want to go away. Which we got, if you guys were, I think all of you were at the last meeting where the tunnel or the bridge was on the agenda. And suddenly we had somebody making a motion that was about neither one of those things, but it was about all the train crossings throughout the city. And it was, you know, I tabled a motion, said it was out of order. I have no idea if that was correct or not. And we didn't get into that too much. I'm really not sure. Here's Michael.
Hello.
Hi, Michael. I'm not really sure how to manage these. To me, it's two different subjects. One is tunnel or bridge for the new river crossing. And then this other motion came up regarding all the other railroad crossings. Now, it was suggested to me that we invite somebody from FDOT to make a presentation on the issue of all the other railroad crossings, elevated tracks or overpasses, and the costs. I don't think there's anybody that's going to know how to talk about that, and certainly not going to know the costs, unless one of you think that there's a person like this.
Well, I don't think DOT has any plans to do anything else besides this proposition for Fort Lauderdale. I don't think they have any plans on that. I mean,
Caroline, I see your
it could
hand.
be Oakland Park, it could be anywhere.
I just, go ahead, Marilyn.
You're right. Nobody at FDOT is thinking about this.
No.
And they won't even probably talk to us about it. But I think it's a very interesting subject, because we've spent so much time concentrating on the bridge or the tunnel that we haven't spent any time thinking about what the other impacts are going to be of commuter rail running through Broward County. And that includes all the east-west streets. If you do a tunnel, Davy or Andrews doesn't get impacted. It goes under it, but it comes up right by Sunrise. And so you're going to have the FEC trains, you're going to have the commuter trains, and you're going to have the Brightline trains all running on these tracks. And that's going to be a lot of trains, and it's going to cause a lot of disruption on the east-west streets. I don't think anybody has been focusing on it except this guy Troy. God bless him. He started focusing on it. And I did bring it up at one of the public meetings, and I was just poo-pooed, and it's so important to have commuter rail that we don't care about that, or I'm paraphrasing, of course. I don't know that. I think as people begin to think about this and begin to see the impact, it's going to be it's going to be an issue. I don't know that if it's an issue for us necessarily.
Okay, well,
but
I think
it is an issue.
I think, the issue is, to me, the tunnel or the bridge, because the county is going to make a decision on that. So that was what the most paramount thing was. And I got really kind of thrown off when we went in another direction. I really honestly I think it is very important, but I didn't really appreciate that happening like that. So not that it's not important, it's just that's what we weren't focusing on. And I think I literally went, well, anyway, let me let other people talk. People might have better ideas. So Abby, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I don't think we're gonna have any success with FDOT. They're just gonna tell you that's outside of the scope of the project. However, if you wanna put Troy on a committee to try and find a contact at, you know, at FDOT, that will come, I think that's great, but I don't think we're gonna find anyone outside of this, you know, comment on the cost or anything outside of the scope of the project, just like we're saying, well, the scope of our discussion is the New River Crossing. I mean, this is a different scope, but I think it brings up, you know, a larger question that, you know, maybe we can host, you know, some type of speaker about sort of the future of transportation in Broward, because things are going to look different when we have high-speed rail going through, and people may not, you know, like Marilyn said, understand the impacts. So I would look for a speaker to speak on a broader range of topics. But I mean, my only experience is, you know, I grew up on Long Island when the Long Island Railroad started, and when it first started, you know, went all up and down Long Island, grade level, and then eventually they raised all of the, you know, they raised all of the stations and the crossings. But you know, that was a phase, you know, 3 or phase 4. So you know, I'm sure it's in our future of transportation, but whether or not we can get any concrete answers at this time, I doubt it.
Mary, we might be able to get Greg Stewart from the Metropolitan Planning.
Okay, I can check with them.
He might be able to look at it from a higher level from their perspective, because it, you know, that's a county-wide question, although really only affects the east side of the county.
No, it affects the west side. Everybody, the guys come from the west to the east. And it
Yeah,
affects
you're
all of
right,
us.
you're right. But I'm saying they don't have, if people are going back and forth for short distances, like if you're going downtown or just across town and you have the FEC tracks in the way, it impacts you. Somebody out in Weston can do their normal business without any impact.
Yeah, but you know, if you come into to Fort Lauderdale to
coming- right.
work,
Right.
it
But
becomes-
remember,
All right,
tax
well, let me,
dollars go
let me,
out there.
Let me let Dennis go ahead. Go ahead, Dennis.
Remember when Mayor Tranchelis came to the council and he told us about the Broward Forum was having the Broward Workshop was having the forum? Well, I watched that on Zoom and I think it was back in March, and someone at that said about maybe there was a solution where they could do something that would address all the railroad crossings, but nobody said what that solution was going to be. That's the only time that I ever heard anything like that mentioned. And I do want to add that we had the presentation at Lauderdale Manors about the bridge versus the tunnel, and the speaker from the DOT was very, very anti-tunnel. Everything negative he could say about it, he did.
Exactly the same thing with us. It was like if you were asking anything about the tunnel, he will just say, well, we don't care about the tunnel. We don't maintain tunnels. You get in there, you're going to be in trouble. We're talking about bridges. This is bridge. This is bridge. This is bridge. I mean, it's just
Okay.
like, what are
Right,
you
let me,
asking for opinions?
Okay, and Melinda, go ahead.
So just I guess on this topic, I mean, it's interesting because it was appropriate, Mary, that I think that we didn't actually hopefully delve into it too much at the last meeting, because it wasn't, Broward Commuter Rail was not on the agenda. I don't know that we've ever had it on the agenda. And I mean, I guess we have to consider if we want to go back to having that on the agenda, like that's something that maybe even was on the agenda, this board 10 years ago, because that has been under discussion for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And so it's just that in the last, the Broward County Commission said to FDOT, hey, do this PD&E study. And then, it came to the point where, okay, like we have to figure out the locally preferred alternative. And so like that really was our discussion, because we're kind of, I guess, at this point where we're assuming the Broward County is moving ahead with this in some fashion. But I agree with Dennis and Marilyn that at the Broward workshop, there were several people who brought up the east-west issue. So I don't know if the appropriate person if we want to talk about east-west crossing at all of those 6 junctions within Broward County, obviously, like that's even beyond the scope of Fort Lauderdale. I kind of think, like they said, like Broward MPO, but also potentially, would it be Lamar Fisher or would it be Beam Fur, who's been a huge, I think, advocate for the commuter rail?
So I don't really, so what you're saying is this isn't not a new subject.
No.
No.
All right, we do not want to be, we're concerned with the city, this group is, not all of Broward County. So I think what I'll do is I'll get a hold of Greg Stewart. And did you say something about Beam Fur? I didn't hear, I hear that quite.
Yeah, my impression from going to the Broward workshop, I think Marilyn, you were there too, is that he's actually quite knowledgeable as far as county commissioners. And I think that because his jurisdiction encompasses the Fort Lauderdale airport, that, despite what could happen with the other 6 stops in Broward County, that connecting the Aventura stop, the most furthest northern Miami-Dade stop, which, I mean, Miami-Dade is doing this and they're way ahead of us, but connecting that to the airport stop is something that he thinks, could happen even if the entire project is delayed. So I guess I find him to be someone on the commission who seemed quite knowledgeable.
And Colleen, go ahead.
Hey there. First of all, it's good to see everybody. You all look fabulous. I want to say, Luis in particular, you're just,
Me?
yeah, you look great tonight. So,
Oh, thank you.
missed you guys. A lot has already been said. I kind of want to echo Melinda's comments and Marilyn's comments. The question is, yes, we're talking about the bridge versus the tunnel. That is the topic. But I think part of this is, would the bridge or the tunnel, either of them happen without the commuter rail? And the answer is no, right? So the commuter rail has impact. And I think, as annoying as it was, perhaps that Troy brought it up, I do think there's an impact from west to east. And it's not, it is across the county, but there are several neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale that are going to be sitting at those junctions several times a day. So maybe rather than ask for the cost to uplift the commuter rail, maybe we could request, and I think this is where Melinda was headed, or maybe she kind of said it, but maybe we could ask for the impact analysis, right? What does this look like? I mean, they've given us 60 trains a day, 90 trains a day, I forget. But I think we could ask that of the county commission, FDOT, MPO, anyone, but rather than cost it out, at least we understand. And then we're on record with understanding that there has been concern raised by residents. This is going to have a real impact. I cross those railroad tracks, 5-10 times a day.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it impacts a lot of us. And I think it is tied to the topic that we're talking about. So I appreciate that we don't want to delay anything, but I do think some sort of analysis of what this is going to look like long-term for us is a legitimate request.
Okay. And Marilyn, new hand?
No. I was going to echo Melinda with the commissioner, Ben Fur. Yeah, I think he's a key person here because
Okay.
he's somebody who understands the bigger picture, and I would really love to have him come and talk to us about the whole issue of the commuter rail.
All right. We have
Can I?
I think I agree he'd be a great speaker.
Okay.
I would like to say something because not Marilyn, Melinda mentioned Miami. In Miami, this train is actually going through certain areas that are really well traveled, but they don't seem to have any accidents. All the accidents happen from Aventura to the north, especially in Pompano. I don't know, or around here too. And that's one thing that you need to look at too, safety. There seems to be a problem with that, and somebody needs to address it. I can't believe that somebody remembered the Long Island Railroad that was in most places is actually under, and some other places elevated. The only thing that I see, let me just say this, between downtown and the end of our area, we have a crossing in Sunrise, 13th Street, 17th Street Northeast, Northeast 24th, Northeast 26th, Oakland Park, 34th Street, 36th Street, Florida Commercial, 56th and 62nd. All those crossings are in our area. Let's just call Fort Lauderdale because it's just, we includes Wilton Manors and Oakland Park that are basically kind of like embraced by Fort Lauderdale. All the people that come from anywhere to the east, from the west to the east and back, they have to go crossing. As was said before, I lived in this area here, and when the train, a big train happens and it closes the intersection of 13, Sunrise, and then Andrews, the whole area becomes completely gridlocked. You cannot move for minutes. And I'm talking about the cargo trains, but when you start putting several trains together, there will be too many closings.
All right, well, let me see if I can get Dean Fern. I think, Louis, you're correct, and every one of us knows that. I mean, I drive east, west all the time, and I tell you, I come home quite often from swimming on Sis Trunk. I always think, you know, if every railroad crossing was like this, I don't think so many people there'd be so many accidents, because that is up really high. It's really quite a bumpy crossing also, but it's, you know, you can go up to go over it. It's kind of interesting. But let me see, I'm going to check with Beam Fur, because I do, and Greg also, both of them, just see, I do want to say we have a pretty full agenda, so I don't see having either one of them come and speak at the next meeting unless you guys want a really long meeting.
No, I think by the time you get them and you convince them to come, we're looking at the next meeting.
Oh, look at Dennis. Dennis, if you could just elaborate what you put in the chat.
I read in the Sun Sentinel, I think it was even 6 weeks ago, because I was like, why are they waiting? But anyway, a bunch of federal agencies are supposed to be coming to Fort Lauderdale to look at the railroad crossings in June.
Well, isn't that
And the safety issue.
The accidents? I think I read that already.
Yes,
Yes,
because
safety,
of
because
Yeah.
safety.
yeah,
Okay.
because of my eye thing. I don't know. Maybe I typed something wrong.
No, you're fine. It's
Okay,
I read that it's because of
all the collisions.
people driving around.
Yeah, it's mainly people thinking they can beat the train. They find out they can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say, I was at 26th Street heading east, and I got to the railroad tracks and there was a car ahead of me and all the lights were flashing, but the gates were up and nobody went over the tracks. And we sat there and we sat there and we sat there. I mean, like 5-10 minutes, no train. Finally, people started beeping their horns and they went over the tracks. I was like terrified. I don't know what was going on. There was no train, but the lights were flashing. It's pretty scary. All right. Well, we'll see what we can do about that. What I think I will do is break this out into two pieces. One, for the very last time, I'm going to put on the agenda for people to, you know, do we want to, I think we should vote on tunnel versus bridge over the New River crossing. It's been an issue since, I don't know, February. And I want to put that on there. It's probably the last time it either passes or doesn't pass. Everybody knows about it. It's going to be separate from the rest of these crossings. I think we want to convey some kind of message to the county, and we try it one more time. Everybody good with that? Yes.
I do suggest that you personally talk to the guy that made the motion, because that motion needs to stay tabled for the sake of, you know, the rules.
Well,
It has to stay tabled and cannot be recalled back. If somebody recalls it, we'll have to table it again.
no, I'll talk to Troy. No, Troy,
Okay.
he's a smart guy. I mean, I get what he was doing.
You know, it was a very good motion and a very good point.
it was
Out
out
of
of order.
place. It was out of place.
Yeah. Marilyn,
Oh, the lawyers, they said you never ask a question unless you know what the answer is. And I'm wondering if, the greater part of valor is just not to do that. It's just to let everybody make their own, convey to the authorities their own position. I'm just saying,
Well-
not everybody is going to vote yes. And if what we really want to do is support the yes vote, that might not be the way to do it. It might be the way to
I'm
do
fine
it
with
is just
that. I mean,
let everybody do their own thing. My theory.
well, honestly, what I would have liked to have seen happen is never have been a motion on this subject at a general membership meeting. I would have preferred it happen at a board meeting. Then we could have figured it out amongst the 13 or 12 or 13 of us. Unfortunately, we had that motion. And I'm not really sure, what to do about it. I actually do think every neighborhood should write their own letter. I mean, many have. Ours has, yours has. I know Melinda sent me several letters. So, I mean, neighborhoods have. It's just the mayor came and spoke to us. Then the motion was made to vote. And, it just hasn't worked out. And there's a lot of neighborhoods, that they hear 1.8 billion, which is kind of too bad that that's out there, but that's what's out there. And they don't want to have anything to do with it. So, all right, Melinda, I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. I was just wondering, I mean, can we have it on the agenda for the board to vote on?
I don't know.
I mean, I know we had the membership vote, but I think with respect to the membership, unfortunately, even I think, a month after it was first brought up, like there were still a lot of people who did not vote. They just said, sorry, my mind's not working tonight. Like they
No, there
You
were some
too.
people that abstained because they didn't
Abstained.
they didn't
All right.
have it from their
The-
neighborhood. And they're
So in
probably-
light of the fact that we had so many abstentions and that, was an issue, I do feel it's reflective of the fact that people were unable or didn't decide to educate themselves on the topic, but as the board, like that's our duty. And so I don't think it's in bad taste for us to do a board vote on it. Because we are the group that is supposed to take
Well,
the time.
I hear what you're saying, and if that had happened in the first place, it would be fine. But I'm not comfortable having it be a subject at the general membership meeting and a motion made, and we voted on it as the general membership, and then it not pass, and then for us to turn around and just do it ourselves and not pay attention to other civic associations' votes, I think would be in poor taste.
I kind of have a little bit of a disagreement with you, Ms. Klaus, in here. I do believe that we also happen to have a role as a steering. We listen to what our constituents say, but we also need to have a job as we are the ones that get a lot more information, and we need to do some selling too, but we can take a position as a board that can be completely different as the position that the membership can take, and that is perfectly fine.
Well,
Yeah, I do have to agree with that, because I think that so basically we pretty much tried to do a referendum, but like we're elected by the membership in any case to take positions as a board. We can certainly do that, and it doesn't have to be a referendum of what the membership thinks. In fact, it would be wrong to always govern that way. It has to be the way that this group, however many we are, 10 or 12, we're elected to this position because of the fact that we've said we will educate ourselves beyond our neighborhood, that we will think of the council and the city as a whole. And I think that the impetus and the kind of the fiduciary duty does fall on our shoulders and can be different than what your constituents in a referendum would ask for. But we were elected to make our decisions and not necessarily always, it won't always reflect a membership that's uninformed.
Okay, Dennis?
My recollection is that it didn't go anywhere. We did take a vote on it at the board. And one of the things I said was if we voted on it at the board and the general membership didn't agree with it, that we lose credibility doing that. I remember that discussion that we had. It did not pass here at the board either. And that's why we took it to the general membership.
Okay,
That's-
and Christina?
Yep, I agree with Melinda, and I'm concerned by anybody kind of portraying this board as just being a rubber stamp to the general membership. We all work hard and we strive to be educated in topics. And I think that it demotivates all of us to actively participate if we end up getting hamstringed because 40 other folks can't get their stuff together. I mean, that's the beauty of the dozen of us working together, is that we are diverse and we don't always agree, but we're all going to be educated on something. So I feel frustrated that all of us can get informed, but we're being told we shouldn't take a position because the other folks didn't get educated. I don't support that.
Okay, and Marilyn?
I take the exact opposite position. I think that, you know, we cannot put ourselves above the membership. We are, it says right in our bylaws, we're a coalition of member organizations. And if our member organizations are not supporting this, or we can't get a membership vote in support of this, I don't think that we as individuals can take it upon ourselves to overrule the membership. To which I suggest that we just leave it alone, rather than put ourselves in the position of thinking that we know better than our member organizations. I'm not comfortable there, really not. Just me.
Okay, well,
It's
again,
just one vote, it's just me.
okay, I tend to feel that same way. And again, if there had never been a motion at the general membership meeting to vote on this, we would have done it at the board level. But unfortunately, there was. And that is where it lies. It lies, in my opinion, with the general membership. Now, if somebody wants to find some Robert rules that says, even that. I mean, having been to some of these other civic association meetings, I can just hear them. Well, we voted against it, and then, or we didn't know about it, or we didn't get a chance to vote, or whatever. But the board voted anyway, one way or the other. I just, think it went the wrong way with, a motion made too quickly. When was that? In February or March at a general membership meeting. And I think we're stuck. So, all right, goodbye, Christina. I think we're kind of stuck at the general membership meeting. That's my opinion, and I'm not comfortable having the board vote on it. Quite,
Is there anything in the bylaws that would clarify what the proper procedure would be? If it's a
Pardon?
procedure, is there anything in the bylaws
Not that I can see.
that addresses this? I think the issue is, the cat's out of the bag. We brought it up before the membership, came very close to a vote in favor of a tunnel. I think you go back and finish that up, because now everybody's had a chance to listen to it. If they haven't by now, well, then shame on them. I mean, there's a point where you have to draw a line. Maybe on other things, it's a board vote, but we put it out there.
Oh, that's the thing. It already is out at the general membership meeting. I mean, I wish it never had been, but it was. And I don't see anything in our bylaws about.
Michael, can you see anything in the bylaws?
I'm learning it right now, but
I didn't mean to imply that there's something specific in the bylaws that says that the board can't take a position other than the membership. I did not mean to imply that. I'm speaking, like organizationally, institutionally, that, we represent other people as a group. We don't represent ourselves. So my thoughts. So don't go looking for words in the bylaws.
Okay, and Melinda, I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just looking through the bylaws as well.
I don't see anything.
Shoot, sorry, I muted myself. I mean, I'm happy to take it up at the next membership meeting as well, but I actually wanted to clarify how many abstentions there were, because I do feel we had a large number of abstentions, not necessarily a strong amount of no's. In fact, I think the total no's was quite, I think it was 8 neighborhoods said no, if I recall, but there was so many abstentions that we didn't have the majority vote on it. And for that reason, I do think either do the vote again at the next membership meeting, or I still feel like, as Christina said too, like, given the number of abstentions and the amount of research this group would have taken in respect to this topic, I do feel we do have a legitimacy in voting for it at the board level as well. But happy to take it to the membership. There was a lot of abstentions, and that's why it didn't pass.
Right. I don't think there'll be that this time because people have had plenty of time. A lot of those people have been directed multiple times to the information on the website.
Well,
We're in a different place than we were then.
let me think about it, but I think what I'm gonna do is put that we are voting on it, and only that. And remember, these meetings are in person. It's a little bit different than virtual. And I think that was March where we had that vote, because I know where I was. It was a virtual meeting. I was in California. And so certainly March, April, May, if people, June, by the time people have either found out about it or they haven't, and they never will. So let's just have a vote. The general membership meeting, we're going to vote on bridge versus tunnel, only that for the next meeting. And then it either passes or it doesn't. And that's going to be the end of that. And then I will work on getting someone else, maybe Beam for, I don't think we're going to want, I think we're going to have too many people if I ask them to come to this June 14th meeting. So I think we'll hold off on that. Remember, the August meeting is really going to be our candidate forum. So Marilyn, is your hand up again, or is that?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I appreciate the fact that the people who support the tunnel would really want to have, a support from the council. I don't know how important support from the council is, but it would certainly, but if you get a vote that's like, I don't know, one more in support of the tunnel than not in support of the tunnel, I don't know how helpful that's going to be. I think you might want to think about that. Just saying that, the council supports it by a vote of, one more that's in favor. It's not an overwhelming enthusiastic support. So I don't know how helpful it's going to be.
Say that. I don't have to say who voted.
No, you don't. But that's the truth of the matter. You don't have to say it, but somebody who was against it will say that, it was only one person more than, the majority. I just don't know if you're going to help your cause. You're rolling the dice. You're rolling the dice on this one.
I can live with that. I could live with.
All right. I'm
Okay.
done.
May I say something? One thing that I really find very disturbing is that the information campaign that the state and the people that do DOT put on, it was absolutely abject. It was not an information. It was just like, look at what you're getting yourself with this so much money. It's not proven. It's not this and not. It was really so tilted that people would have just given their food stamps card if needed be because of this. It was not really, not really a good presentation. It was just almost like propaganda.
Yeah. Well, there's also some costs called social costs when you put bridges up in terms of how it impacts communities. Just throwing that out.
Yeah, and a motion can be made for the vote, and then there can be this kind of discussion. So, you know, I'm just trying to remember. I mean, I think I've seen this presentation like 4 or 5 times, and there was probably about 4 times. I remember one time thinking this person really is poo-pooing the tunnel, but what can you do? You know, that's who you got. So, so we're gonna wind this up. I see I got Melinda and Abby, and then we're gonna move on from this, but go ahead, Melinda.
So yeah, I just wanted to remind everyone, so I think we did the membership vote in February after Dean spoke. Then we did, I think, another
March.
membership vote in March. So I pulled up the March minutes because FDOT had come. And so it was 21 associations voting, 3 voted no, 7 abstained, and 11 were yes. So it was something that Christine had to actually take, you know, to attorney. So I just feel, because of the number of abstentions, and also like not a whole lot of associations even participating, I really do feel we should bring it back. And you know, whatever happens, but then let's
bring it back. We'll bring it back, and then it'll probably pass. I think it will. So, of course, I didn't say that. Take that away.
It's
But,
being recorded.
okay, and Abby,
Can't we bring it back as a resolution that's more broad about the support? I mean, sort of what Jim said, you know, that we feel that, you know, bridges are inherently community dividers, or, you know, something that speaks more to the broader community than tunnel versus, you know, versus bridge.
okay, we, if somebody makes a motion to vote for one, you know, let's say,
Could I,
make sure we have a couple of us speak about that, like Frankie actually brought it up. You know, he said it, you know, really well the other night. You know, look what happened to Overtown. Overtown was a prosperous, you know, great community until I-95 destroyed it. So
could I support that very, very vigorously?
Yeah.
Because if you set it up as the board has passed a resolution in support of the tunnel for the following reasons, and then ask the membership to support the board, I could get behind that, because the board can make the arguments that Frankie makes, that, you know, a tunnel is a bridge traditionally separates neighborhoods, and even though the cost of the tunnel may be more, it's worth it for the unification of the communities. I mean, we could make a very nice resolution and then ask the membership to support that resolution. I think you'd be better off and you'd get more votes for that than just
well,
putting it out there.
let me write that. Okay,
I
that's a good
support
idea.
Abby on
Let's
that.
write that up.
And you get better words too.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna write this, and I'm gonna send it to a couple of you, okay?
yeah, you do that, Mary. I mean, that's a brilliant, Abby, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on just a second. Yeah, I'm gonna need help writing this. I'll write it up, but I'm gonna probably need a little bit of help here. Okay.
Yeah, you can write it up and then send it, and we could all approve it by email.
Okay. All right. Good idea. Because they're gonna be voting for the resolution or not for the resolution. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, good. So we're gonna move on to the next subject. The candidate form. Do I still have Michael on here? Michael's still here?
He's here.
there.
You there, Michael?
He's muted, and
I'm
actually, he just dropped. Oh, no, he's
Okay, Michael, I went to the Y, the new Y, twice last week.
I heard.
It, they have this black box theater that would be, I think, kick-ass, excuse my language, for a candidate forum. And I'm not sure how many seats are in it, but it's pretty big. I don't know, maybe 200 people. I mean, you think you need more seating than for 200 people?
No.
Okay,
You'd be so lucky that they're, you know, spilling out of the room. So in terms of.
wait, say that again?
We should be so lucky that, you know, people are spilling out of the room with,
Yeah.
with participation and interest.
Yes, I think it would be a fantastic place to have it. And I talked to Cheryl Woods about it quite a bit a few days before they had the grand opening. And she wants us to do that. It's not free. We have to pay an audio-visual person. But I think I don't know how much it would cost, but we have money. And I think it would be a great place to do it. And Michael, if you want to like meet me down there and take a look at it.
Sure.
And, talk to Sharon Hughes seems to be the person that is really operating the Y. And we could figure it out. We have to come up with a date pretty soon. I know that's a little hard to do, but
What month
Well-
do we have to do it? October?
Are you addressing this to Madam President? Are you addressing this to me or to the group?
to you. I'm sorry, to you.
Okay, very good. So I'm looking at the calendar. The primary, the August primary is set for the 23rd,
Right.
which is the fourth Tuesday of the month. You stated that you would like to see our August meeting as the candidates night. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, I think we've done that before, correct? Is that?
Yeah, it's before the, now keep in mind, early voting is happening at that time. Okay?
Okay.
So, but people, would like to still bring their ballots like they did before. I know Colleen's on this call and we work side by side together with many of the candidates nights here. And it was very effective, people bringing their ballots with them, especially when they heard the judicial candidates go on. And they were very enlightened by it, and they thanked us a lot by this. So I think the date I saw was August the 9th, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
August the 9th. So that would be a sufficient amount of time if you give people a lot of, because there'll be other candidates night happening throughout Broward County. But again, it should be good for us because I got a commitment from the SOE from Joe Scott. I got a commitment from I think I went through the litany of everything, of all the different various clubs, organizations, the League of Women's Voters. So you would, I think this would be good. It'd be good. And I'm definitely for moving this around because, don't get me wrong, art service, beautiful, but it gets stagnant. And I think we should move it in a different part of town to show them that we are moving around, especially in Fort Lauderdale, and showcase the new, the YMCA,
Okay, so what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna tell her, we would like to have it August 9th.
Right.
We have this in the evening, obviously.
Correct.
And that'll take our August, that will be our August meeting. Who else do you need me to contact, or will you contact them, or how do we, tell me how this works?
Well, it's very easy. You just secure the venue, the facility. And once that's done, you and I do a walkthrough, and whoever committee wants to join along with us. So
Okay.
we don't have to go through, reinvent the wheel again. The program is not broken. Matter of fact, I held on to, Colleen, if you're on the call, I held on to all the folder since 2018. So I have the whole manifest that's there. It's pretty well written. And there it is. All you have to do, we're going to get a phenomenal moderator. And then we'll take it from the top. Yep. I think this it'll work itself straight through. We have to, by June, here's how this works. By June, I think the filing date, not the filing date, when the qualification date, that's the word I was looking for. The qualification date, who qualifies and who does not qualify of the judicial candidates, and then you can find out who's there. And then actually members of the school board as for the same, because, and also, then also for the city, so we still have time. I don't want to muddy up the waters now because the city commission race is in November. And you have to deal with the primary in the beautiful part about this is you can do the judicial and the school board races and leave it alone. And then we can have another candidates night explicitly for the city commission races. Because there's going to be three of them. There's going to be three of them.
All right, so you suggest why would we not do them all at once? Just I'm curious.
Too much.
No,
No.
you need 3 hours for a debate.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll lose people, I'm telling you. So the city commission race, and Colleen was with me when we met as president. When we did, actually, it was Ron Centimore. When we did the come on, Michael, we did the mayor's race, and we did one of the, I think it was a commission race. And we held it separate from the judicial yeah, we held it separate. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can do your October meeting for the city of Fort Lauderdale, and I think people would appreciate that too.
Oh, well, maybe we'll use the Y for both of those things.
Whatever you want to, you hold the gavel, so you call it. I'm just making my suggestions as the coordinator, and you take it right from there. Do not. This is not broken.
Okay.
Again, this method, this system is not broken. It was really perfected by Colleen and the whole committee, and it works.
Okay. Perfect. What I'll do is I'll reserve those dates at the Y.
Correct.
That's what I'm gonna do right now.
I would like to make the meet with you to take a walkthrough with you and
Sure.
Maureen, and see what we have to offer there. Okay.
All right. Well, you and I can offline. We can figure a time.
Yeah. Because I don't want to waste no more of the time on this agenda here.
Okay.
So we know what to do. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. And Dennis, I see you have your hand up, and then Colleen.
Yes, the first thing is, do you think that parking is going to be an issue at the Y? They don't have very much parking. What are they going to do about that?
Well, they parked everybody the other day.
But you said a police officer showed you where to park.
Yeah, he's showing everybody where to park.
But who's going to show everybody where to park the night of our candidate forum?
I don't know.
It's going to be an issue.
We'll have to talk-
The
you know what?
other thing, the only city commission race that's going to be in November is to replace Commissioner Muratis. The other people have not submitted their resignation, and the city has already passed a resolution of a special election in November for one candidate. Check with David. If you think I'm wrong, call David and ask him.
Well, I do know there's only one race right now, but we don't know if there's two others.
No, we know
Yes,
that.
but they haven't resigned in time for them to set it. It cannot be in November, is my understanding. Ask David.
I'll ask him.
It depends.
My
on the date.
understanding is
It
they
depends the
resigned by.
date. It
Sorry.
depends on the date of the resignation. I can tell you McKinsey is not going to resign until January. He can submit his letter, but the date on it will be January. I'm pretty sure. That's what he's going to do.
Madam President, please move this.
All right. Well, we'll figure that out. If there's only, we'll figure that out. Okay. And Colleen.
I was just gonna say, Michael, I'm all in, and especially for the school board, I'm pretty familiar with all the candidates running, all the current school district board members. I sit in on school district board meetings pretty regularly, so let's talk offline. And if you don't already have somebody steering that part of it, happy to take that on.
Super.
Right on.
Okay.
Welcome back.
All right. We'll figure out the commission races later, but for right now, I'm still going to reserve the Y for August and October. And if we don't have a candidate forum in October, we could just have our meeting there or not. We'll figure
That
that.
would be nice.
So, but this does cost some money. I know it's eventually gonna have to pay the Y to use the space. So I don't know. Well, I was thinking it'd be a great place to have our Christmas party, but I don't know. Cost some money, so we'll see.
Mary, do you know what the number is for the rental?
I don't know. I asked Cheryl, and she goes, no, and I don't know, but at least for your candidate form, if you could just pay the guy that does audio visual. So,
That's fine.
you know, the IT guy, the IT person. I said, fine, and it's probably a couple $100, but I don't know. I do not know, but I will find out.
So Mary, we should find that out, right? If it ends up being a
Right.
couple $1,000s, we're back to art serve, probably, right?
Well, it won't, and I
No,
won't be that. In August, it's just the audio visual guy, and I don't think it's that, but I'll find out. I will find out. If it is really prohibitively expensive, and I don't think it will be, at least for August.
My hand keep going down. Mary,
Yes,
can you ask Sharon about the having the police help with the parking for the night that we want?
I will
Yes.
ask. Yes.
Okay.
Mary, sorry, you're talking about the Black Box Theater as the location within the center?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. All right, I think we got that covered. And then next, everybody, did you have a chance to take a look at those minutes and review them? Any additions or corrections?
I move to approve it as it is.
Okay, we need a second.
I'll second.
Oh.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
All opposed? But the minutes pass as they're written. And now, okay, the treasurer's report. I think you have that up here earlier, Jim.
All right, give me a second. I'll get it up.
Oh, Frankie's here. Okay, good. Jim?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I have it up, but I can't, it's not sharing the way I want it to.
I can also, I don't know if
Can
you
you-
want to make me a co-host and I can share
Yeah.
screen.
I can make you,
I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. Here we
You
go.
got it?
Never mind. I
Okay.
got it.
okay.
I was looking right at it. Here you go.
Okay. And no, all right, great. So basically, let me look at mine too. Okay, no big news. Although great, Colleen is still on here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just give her a little heads up because we got to go to the bank with Mary. But so, okay, so May 23rd, we have a total of 15,417.56. The only change since the membership meeting on May 10, I did check the box this morning, and also PayPal, we always see, was a Mass District paid for a $100 non-voting business membership. So that's $50 more than our voting residential memberships. And that is it. That's the only change. And Colleen and Mary, I will text you guys. We need to find a day to go to Truist, formerly SunTrust, and get Mary and I as signers. Colleen, I talked to them, and I think as long as you are there, that we can facilitate this.
Okay, got it. I got it. So can I just say, how soon does that need to happen? Could we wait till after June 13th? I've got a big thing happening that day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and what we might do, the only urgency in this, but obviously we've let it go, is we need to pay Mary for a number of expenses. And so
I'm still able to eat, so don't worry.
yeah, I can't sign checks yet, and Mary's not up on Zelle, which is okay. And so even Colleen, even I could just run a check by you because you're still a signer.
Yep. Okay.
So absolutely, we can do it after June 13, and we'll talk offline about getting Mary her money.
Okay, and you know what? I also just want to mention Mass District becoming a member. That's amazing.
Isn't that good? I love that.
A lot of great new members this year. Congratulations to all of you. Really well done.
I mean, Jim, could you scroll down so we can see how, I think we have 49 or 50.
We actually, yeah, we have 50 now. Mass is our 50th member. And it's May 23rd. So only really a month and a half into the new fiscal year. So 50 voting, 50 members. A few are non-voting, but
I
it's
mean,
awesome.
This is terrific. And there's only one, I can't tell you what the record this is, a civic association that does not have their form in. I'll follow up with them, but I think having the form online made a big difference. I think it made it easier, but I'm so happy. 50, that's the most since I've ever been around. Maybe it was different for the rest of you, but that is the most I have ever seen since I've been with the council. So it's terrific. Wonderful. Very happy. Thank you.
That's great. So, and thank you, Dennis, for that reminder on the minutes. We will take as much as we can to the bank with the know your customer rules. It's always a challenge, but I think this is going to work, and we won't have to have everyone on this call show up at the bank, which sometimes happens.
All right, yeah, Dennis, he is right. We had to do that for Coral Ridge too. So, all right, great job. I'm sorry Christina is not on here for me to say.
Oh, you need to have the Sun-based too. Print a copy of the Sun-based record.
Okay.
Yeah, another good suggestion.
We have that. All right, I don't have a president's report. And any old business anybody wants to talk about? I think we talked about it already. And
I was just gonna say, I thought that the meeting went great, Mary, the hybrid.
oh, you mean the last in-person?
I mean, not the hybrid, sorry, it wasn't
The for
hybrid.
real. The for real one.
The in-person, I think it went very well. The membership meeting.
You know, when you're running a meeting like that, it's hard to tell,
Yeah.
I'm running around like that, but yeah, I think it was good. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for telling me that, because later on I'm like, oh my God, was I like a discussion around like that? Oh, Michael, you got your hand up. I apologize. Go ahead.
No problem. Madam President, I'd like to just recognize and say thank you for the Be Tactical changing the street project. A couple of members of the board showed up, Kathy Stobbs, Frankie Lane, and Marilyn. She actually did painting and everything else. It was wonderful. Yeah, it was a wonderful project. It took a village to do this, and I don't know if anybody has drove past there yet, but it's just a phenomenal project. And it's changed the whole scenario of Northeast 15th Avenue from 11th Street to 13th Street. Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Wish I could have helped, but I was really sick. And by the way, Dennis, thank you for keeping tabs on me.
You're welcome.
Michael, I did drive by while I saw all you guys working, and I was like, oh, look at that. Like this, it really does look fantastic. You guys did a great job, and I think it's a great thing for other people to see. We probably should take some pictures of it. And I actually saw your pictures online. Maybe we'll utilize some of yours, but that looks super. Hey, I got a question now. How do those plants get watered?
Actually, by the grace of God, Mother Nature.
It's raining.
Mother Nature has taken effect right now. But we have lined up for actually a truck to come out and water it at least 3 times a month. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll probably be okay. They look like once they're established, they'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think we're good. So I appreciate all of you once again showing up. And actually, we had everybody but Barbara, who has like the most perfect excuse of all. She's on a boat in the Keys. Can't get mad at somebody that's doing that, right? So, all right. Anybody want to move to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn. Let's go drinking.
Okay. Somebody please second that. Okay.
Oh, second.
All right. So we're all in favor, yes. Nobody's opposed.
Right.
You all have a wonderful evening.
Good night. Thank you,
Everybody,
Mary.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
Mary.
Thanks, Mary.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
Mary.
Thanks,
Bye.
Mary.
Thank you, Melinda, too,
Oh,
for being our treasurer and the secretary. Everybody does a great job.
Yes,
Good
we
night.
do.
thank you,
Thank
Now
you.
have some wine or something.
Good idea. All right. All right. You all have a good night.
Bye.
Cranberry juice.
Good night.